She had never been to Africa. She didn't speak the language. She had no job waiting, no apartment booked, no plan beyond the man she loved. She was 23 years old, carrying one suitcase and a decision that everyone around her thought was a mistake. Her parents cried, her friends warned her, and still, she got on the plane. That girl was Guihua, a village girl from Hubei province in central China. And what she built on the other side of the world, a family of 5 children, a business empire worth tens of millions of dollars, and a life that would eventually move millions of strangers to tears online, none of it was planned. What made a young woman from rural China follow a man to a country most people couldn't find on a map? What did she have to give up to stay? And how did someone who arrived with almost nothing end up becoming, as her fans would one day call her, the happiest Chinese woman in Africa? Stay with me, because this story is unlike anything you've heard before. Guihua was born in 1,988 inches, a small town in Hubei province, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone, where families were large and money was modest, and where the measure of a good life was simple. Work hard, stay close to home, take care of your own. She was the 4th of several siblings, not the oldest, not the youngest, but somehow always the one the others looked to. Her parents were not strict. They gave their children room to grow, room to make mistakes, room to figure out who they were. That freedom shaped all of them. It made them independent, yes, but it also made them deeply loyal to one another. The siblings helped each other without being asked. They shared without keeping score, and none of them ever gave their parents much trouble. Guihua was quieter than her reputation suggested, thoughtful. She watched people carefully before she spoke, but when she made a decision, she made it completely no hesitation, no looking back. In 2008, she was admitted to Donghua University in Shanghai with outstanding grades. For a family like hers, from a town like that, it was more than an achievement. It was proof that she was going somewhere. Her parents told everyone they knew. Her siblings celebrated like it was a holiday. Shanghai was a different world, fast, loud, full of possibility. And it was there, on a university campus far from everything she had known, that Guihua's real story began. His name was Asong. He was a graduate student from Rwanda, the son of a respected and wealthy family back home. His father ran a successful business. He had 8 siblings of his own. He spoke several languages fluently: English, French, Kinyarwanda, and enough Mandarin to hold a conversation. He was calm, polite, and carried himself with a quiet confidence that made people trust him immediately. They met on campus. Nobody remembers the exact moment. There was no dramatic first encounter, no single conversation that changed everything. It was slower than that. Lunches that ran long, study sessions that turned into walks. A friendship that deepened before either of them had a name for what it was. By the time they admitted they were in love, it already felt inevitable. But outside their little world, nobody saw it that way. Guihua's family was worried from the start. Her friends thought she was being reckless. People who barely knew her felt comfortable offering opinions. They talked about the distance, about culture, about how different their worlds were, about what her future would look like if she followed this path. She listened to all of it, and then she ignored every word. She didn't research Rwanda, she didn't make spreadsheets or contingency plans. She simply decided that she loved him, and that was enough of a reason to figure the rest out later. When Asong completed his studies and returned to Kigali to build his career, Guihua finished her final year alone. She graduated in 2012, and the moment she had her diploma in hand, she packed her suitcase and booked her flight. Her parents stood at the door and watched her go. Her mother held back tears. Her father said very little, but her siblings, who knew her better than anyone, told their parents the truth. Guihua had already made up her mind years ago. Fighting it now would only mean losing her without the goodbye. So they let her go. And they trusted her. Rwanda was nothing like what she had imagined because she had barely imagined it at all. The air was different. The sounds were different. Even the light felt different, softer and heavier at the same time, falling across red earth roads and green hills that seemed to go on forever. Kigali was cleaner than she expected, quieter in some ways, louder in others. Asong's family welcomed her warmly. There were introductions, meals, laughter across a language barrier that everyone worked hard to cross. And not long after her arrival, they held their wedding. He made sure she had a white dress. The ceremony was large, more than 100 guests full of music, color, and the particular joy that comes when two families meet each other for the first time and decide, against all odds, that they like what they see. That night, Guihua fell asleep in a country that was not hers, beside a man she had chosen over everything familiar, and she was not afraid. What followed were years of building. Asong traveled constantly for work, a salesman covering long routes, away for weeks at a time, which meant that most of the work of daily life fell to Guihua, the cooking, the finances, the children who began arriving quickly and kept coming. Their first daughter was born in 2013, their second in 2015, a son in 2017. Then, in 2020, unexpectedly, a fourth, a shy little girl with wavy hair and wide eyes that her mother called Xiaowu, who preferred quiet corners and her mother's side above all else. 4 children in 7 years, and still, the family grew. In 2015, Guihua had come to know a Chinese businessman and his Rwandan partner through her work. Their relationship had fallen apart. The father returned to China, the mother remarried, and their 6-year-old daughter was left behind, not with family, not with friends, but simply left. Guihua and Asong already had 4 children. Their house was full. She didn't speak Chinese when she arrived. She was quiet, watchful, unsure of where she fit. But within months, she was reciting lines from the 3-character classic, eating with chopsticks, and calling Guihua mama without hesitation, as if she had always known the word. All 5 children grew up speaking 4 languages. They wore Chinese hanfu on holidays and danced to Rwandan music on weekends. They learned to bow to their elders and to greet neighbors by name. The older sisters took care of the younger ones without being asked. In the evenings, the children would compete, genuinely compete, to see who could give their mother the best shoulder massage after a long day. Meanwhile, Guihua was building something beyond her family. She opened a nail salon. She raised pigs. She managed a farm. When that became stable, she helped her eldest sister and younger brother relocate from China and establish a furniture factory in Rwanda. They arrived with experience. Both had worked in furniture and logistics back home, and with Guihua's connections and local knowledge, the factory succeeded almost immediately. Her younger brother eventually fell in love in Rwanda and started his own family there. The siblings who had grown up sharing everything in a small town in Hubei were now, one by one, building lives and businesses on the other side of the world, just as they always had together, quietly, without making a fuss about it. By 2021, Guihua and Asong moved their family into a spacious villa with a large garden. They had a nanny, a private tutor, a driver, and a gardener. Their businesses employed dozens of local workers. Each sibling was worth tens of millions of dollars, and none of them had planned any of it. They had simply kept showing up for each other. In June of this year, Guihua finally brought her family back to China. It had been years since her last visit. The children had grown up hearing stories about Hubei, about the town, the relatives, the food, the way the seasons felt different there, but most of them had never seen it for themselves. For them, China was something that lived inside their mother, in the language she taught them, the songs she hummed while cooking, the way she paused sometimes in the middle of an ordinary afternoon and looked at nothing in particular. Now they were here. They visited old relatives. They walked streets that Guihua had not walked since she was a young woman with a suitcase and a one-way ticket. People recognized her from her videos and stopped to say hello. Neighbors who had watched her grow up shook their heads and smiled, not quite believing what she had become. But the moment that mattered most was quieter than all of that. Guihua's father was ill. He was older now, slower, the kind of tired that doesn't go away with rest. She sat beside his bed and held his hand. She didn't give a speech. She didn't film it. She just sat there, the 4th child who had always led the way, and let him see that she was okay. That the decision he had been so afraid of, all those years ago at the front door, had turned out all right. He looked at her and said nothing. But he didn't need to. What struck her most about China wasn't any single thing. It was the accumulation of it. The new highways cutting through landscapes she remembered as open fields. The hospitals that looked nothing like the ones from her childhood. The smartphones in every hand, the speed of everything. The sense that the country had been running at full speed while she was away and had not stopped once to wait for her. She felt proud, deeply, genuinely proud. And beneath that pride, something quieter. The particular ache of someone who loves a place and knows they will always be a little out of step with it. She had chosen her life. She had chosen it fully, without regret. But standing in her hometown after more than a decade away, she understood for the first time what that choice had truly cost. 20 days, that was all they had. Before leaving, she made a decision. Her eldest daughter and third daughter would stay behind in China, living with Guihua's sister, studying Mandarin more deeply, spending time in the country that was half of who they were. It was not an easy goodbye. The girls were old enough to understand what it meant to stay. Guihua was old enough to understand what it meant to leave them. She and Asong took their son and little Zhaowu and flew back to Rwanda. On the plane, she thought about something she had said once in a video, offhandedly, the way people sometimes say true things without realizing it. She had said that if you love someone enough, home stops being a place. It becomes something you carry, something that lives in the people who know how to find you, no matter where you are. She still believed that. She believed it looking out the window as the plane lifted above the clouds, as China disappeared beneath her again, as Rwanda waited on the other side of the sky. She believed it the way you believe something that has cost you enough to be certain of. Guihua still posts videos. Every few days, something new, the children doing homework in 4 languages, the garden in the early morning light, a meal that is half Chinese and half Rwandan and entirely her own. Her audience has grown into the millions, and the comments are different now than they were at the beginning. Less doubt, less judgment, more people saying that watching her made them rethink something they had always assumed was fixed. What Africa looked like, what happiness required, what it really meant to be brave. She calls herself a village girl who followed her heart, and she is right. But she is also something more than that. She is proof that the life you build from scratch, in a place no one expected, with people no one predicted, can become the most solid thing you ever own. Home isn't where you were born. It's where the people you love know how to find you. Guihua found that in a country far from everything familiar, beside a man her family once feared, raising 5 children who carry 2 worlds inside them without the weight of choosing between them. She didn't have a map, she just kept moving forward. And somehow, that was enough. If the person you loved asked you to leave everything behind and start over somewhere completely unknown, what would make you say yes? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to know where your line is. And if this story moved you, if it made you think about your own life, even for a moment, subscribe. There are more stories like this one waiting. Stories about ordinary people who made extraordinary choices and the lives they built on the other side of their fear. I'll see you in the next one.